"Welcome to Health Senior, your trusted companion for healthy aging." They informed him it was finished, that at 73, the want dwindles, the connection weakens, and a man should merely accept it. But one still evening, with nothing left to lose, he stirred a spoonful of raw honey into warm water, and everything changed. Not all at once, but bit by bit, life came back to his hands, his heart, and his bedroom. I'm Dr. Jason. For over 30 years, I've assisted men in rebuilding what time and worry have bit by bit stolen. Strength, blood flow, and intimacy. Not with costly medication or fussy regimens, but with basic, time-honored truths. Because here's the irony. The solution isn't in doing more. It's in doing something different, something lost. And one of the strongest weapons, chances are, it's in your pantry today. In this note, I'll demonstrate exactly how to utilize honey. Yes, honey. A certain natural method of enhancing circulation, energy, and profound intimacy after 60. Timing is critical. Most men get it wrong. Over the next few minutes, I'll expose how to get it right so you won't miss what may be the catalyst for your second act. Before we start, if you haven't subscribed, take a minute to hit that button and turn on the bell. This way, you won't miss any upcoming tips meant to make you feel stronger, more connected, and more alive after 60. And if this message resonates with you, press 1 in the comments. If not, press 0. Your comments assist me in making it better for you. Now that you see just how powerful something as basic as honey can be, let's take a closer look at why circulation naturally wanes after 60, what that truly means to your energy, your intimacy, and your overall health. And more importantly, what you can do about it today. 1. Why blood flow slows down after age 60 and what it's doing to your vitality and sex life. I recall to this day the time a patient named Harold, age 71, quiet-spoken, a retired school administrator, sat before me and remarked, "Doc, I just don't feel like me anymore. I'm fatigued. Even when I rest, I'm disconnected." That silent sentence is the voice of 60 million men. The reality is what Harold was talking about isn't merely aging. It's circulatory insufficiency, and it happens a lot more than people know. After 60, your blood vessels naturally become less elastic. The inner lining, which we refer to as the endothelium, doesn't have as much nitric oxide, the gas your body uses to soften blood vessels and deliver blood where it needs to go. As this becomes slower, the flow of blood becomes limited. The effect, cold feet and hands, sluggish energy, a heart that must labor harder, and for most, a loss of zest for living physically, mentally, and sexually. You may find yourself slightly disconnected from your body, or that some experiences with your partner seem less lusty than before. That's not your fault. It's your biology crying out for help. And here's the thing that counts. Circulation isn't only about your heart. It's about your brain, your muscles, your desire, your confidence. It's the very basis of how alive you feel in your own skin. And the great news is, even past 60, your body can respond beautifully to the right cue. Which leads to the question most men never even think to ask. If something as humble as raw honey can release that signal, how does it work, exactly? What's in honey that science is only just starting to appreciate? And how can you use it to make you feel stronger, clearer, and more connected than you have in years? That's what we're about to find out. If you're still here and this message is speaking to you, leave a number 1 in the comments so I know you're on this with me. Now let's continue. What you're about to hear may just change the way you look at something as ordinary as honey forever. 2. The secret power of honey supported by science. I'm being honest with you. When I initially heard an old farmer swear by a spoonful of raw honey every morning as his secret to endurance and acuity, I smiled courteously. I'd practiced clinical medicine for decades relying on science and procedures. Honey was simply something you added to tea, to me. But what I then did not know, what science has only just started to establish, is that honey is much more than simply natural sugar. It's a powerful, biologically active agent with genuine cardiovascular value, particularly when it's raw, unfiltered, and used purposefully. Raw honey is full of active antioxidants, flavonoids, and trace enzymes that are anti-inflammatory and that enhance blood vessel function. Most significantly, some of the honey compounds increase the synthesis of nitric oxide, the very same molecule your body requires to keep blood vessels open, flexible, and flowing. This isn't legend. It's well established by research regarding honey's contribution to better cholesterol levels, cardiovascular health, and endothelial function. It's no surprise, really, that cultures everywhere, prior to the advent of pharmaceuticals, utilized honey not only as a food, but as medicine. Ayurvedic practices, Egyptian traditions, honey was used to restore, but most particularly to restore aging men. And here comes the personal stuff. As I started suggesting honey to some of my elderly patients in the appropriate form and dosage, I began noticing something quiet but profound. Color in their cheeks, heat in their palms, vitality in their gait, even a sort of sparkle in their eyes. It was not a miracle. It was nature being its best, sustaining life if allowed the opportunity. But here is where it gets really fascinating. You cannot eat any honey at any time and hope to get results. There is a way, a timing, a manner in which one can use honey to make it not just a sweetener but something far more effective. And in the very next moment, I will reveal to you precisely how it is done. 3. The 6060 Method. How to apply honey to stimulate circulation and bonding. I've learned throughout the years that timing is everything. I had a patient by the name of Carl, 66, widowed, conscientious, subtly suffering from low energy and feelings of isolation he didn't know how to articulate. He'd already taken vitamins, medications, even some sort of fad supplements. Nothing worked until he tried something I refer to now as the 60-60 method. It is basic, but deceptively effective. It involves 1 teaspoon of raw honey on an empty stomach upon rising or approximately an hour before intimacy. Not after a big meal, not added to sweet coffee, but straight up raw honey, either by the spoonful or gently mixed into warm, not hot, water. What Carl experienced after only a few days wasn't sensational, but it was real. He reported that his mind seemed quicker in the morning. His fingers weren't so cold. And perhaps most significant of all, when he reconnected with someone new in his life, he reported, "I didn't feel numb anymore. I felt present." The 60-60 process is founded on the belief that the body reacts optimally when given what it needs when it needs it. Honey supports nitric oxide, but adding gentle movement, such as a 10-minute walk, unlocks its potential. It's not magic. It's momentum. The correct inputs consistently taken can move the way your blood flows, the way your brain functions, and the way you're present in your relationships. Some men enjoy adding a squeeze of lemon or a pinch of cayenne. You don't have to. What it comes down to is the ritual. Beginning your day with intention, providing your body with a clean, natural pick-me-up that nourishes energy and circulation on the inside out. But what if you keep it up? What if a daily ritual becomes a rhythm your body begins to trust, rather than constantly disrupting it? That's where things start to shift, and that's what I'm here to tell you about next. 4. What men above 60 have been telling me after they've tried the honey method. I still receive letters, handwritten letters, emails as well, messages from men all over the country who've gone quietly ahead and experimented with the honey method and discovered something they never thought they'd get back. A sense of self. There was George, age 69, who told me he'd nearly given up dating when he got divorced. He started using honey as I'd shown him. 1 teaspoon every morning, a short walk, no big expectations. 3 weeks later, he told me he felt more comfortable in his skin. He was laughing more. He'd even joined a local dance class and met someone special. Then there was Ron, 74, a retired firefighter who'd been on blood pressure meds for over a decade. He didn't believe that honey would do anything, but he gave it a try anyway. 2 months along, with close observation, his doctor could see sufficient improvement in his circulation that they changed his meds. But Ron wasn't happiest about that. What he shared with me, voice level and beaming with pride, was this. "I feel like I can be present for my wife again. Not just physically, emotionally, whole." These testimonies might sound trivial from the outside, but when you've experienced years of gradual deterioration, of being invisible in your own body, a transformation like this feels massive. It's not about energy or performance. It's about the subtle return of confidence, of presence, of being able to say, "I'm still here." And it is not a miracle solution. It's consistency. It's intention. It's your body responding day to day when you provide it with something real. Now, while these results are incredibly powerful, they only begin to scratch the surface. There is something more profound occurring when circulation increases, something far more significant than physical well-being. Because when blood circulates, something else circulates with it. Your capacity to think clearly, feel deeply, and connect completely. So let's discuss that connection and why for a lot of men, this little adjustment is bringing back something they believed they'd lost for good. 5. The science of the connection. Why blood flow equals bonding. The most poignant talk I've ever had in my practice was from a man named Walter, 76, who told me, "Doc, I don't miss being young. I miss feeling close." He wasn't complaining about performance. He was complaining about presence, the kind that makes you feel noticed, desired, alive in this moment with somebody you love. What most people don't know is that emotional connection and physical touch aren't two different systems within the body. They're deeply connected to circulation. When blood is not flowing freely, it's not only the body that begins to wind down. The mind slows. Emotions decelerate. You don't laugh as quickly. You feel a little more disconnected, a little less you. Over time, it chips away at connection. Until one day, you look in the mirror and wonder where that spark went. But when circulation improves, something remarkable happens. Your brain receives more oxygen. Your nerves become more responsive. Hormones like testosterone and dopamine begin to rebalance. Not only are you more awake, you're more present. And being present, relationships change. You listen. You maintain eye contact longer. You're comfortable taking your partner's hand or teasing or touching or creating a moment of intimacy. Doesn't have to be wonderful, but it feels true again. That's why when men say this approach reconnected them, they often mean beyond physically, they mean emotionally, spiritually. They feel anchored once more, as if their feet are planted on the ground and their heart is open. This has nothing to do with pursuing youth. It has to do with taking back vitality, your innate capacity to be present in your life with discernment, power, and warmth. But as we look at these gifts, we must be truthful. Some men don't achieve what they desire. Not because honey doesn't work, but due to a few simple mistakes that stealthily stall progress. Let me demonstrate what to avoid so that you don't lose a single step on your way back to yourself. 6. What not to do. Mistakes to avoid. When I first started to offer this honey approach to patients, I guessed most would realize the benefits fast. But after a while, I observed something strange. While most men said they felt better, more energized, more connected, others didn't feel much different at all. And it wasn't because the technique didn't work. It was because of some minor, preventable errors that subtly kept them stuck. One of the most prevalent is selecting the wrong type of honey. So many men just grab those clear plastic containers from the supermarket, filtered, pasteurized, nutrient-depleted. What your body requires is raw, unfiltered honey, preferably local or organic, where the enzymes and natural chemicals are still intact. That's what nourishes nitric oxide. That's what makes the blood work. Another error, consuming it after a rich meal or in the evening. Your body slows down your digestive system at night, and when your stomach is full, the actions of the honey are blunted. Timing is critical. Morning or an hour before linking, that's when your body responds best. And then there are the men who attempt to speed things along. They use too much expecting instant gratification. 2 or 3 tablespoons per day, under the delusion that more is better. But excess honey causes a spike in blood sugar that's followed by a crash that negates all you're attempting to create. 1 teaspoon will do. Consistency trumps quantity. I've watched men drop the practice after only a few days because they didn't get a zap of energy. But this isn't sleight of hand. It's a message to the body, a gentle prod. Restoring what's been out of balance for years requires time. And when you give it time, something remarkable happens. Now, if you've blown one of these steps, don't worry. Most men do initially, but after you get back on track, the rewards usually show up sooner than you think. Well, now that you have some idea of what not to do, let's discuss what you can do today to create a consistent ritual that helps support not only your circulation, but your overall sense of well-being. 7. Final words from Dr. Jason. I've led thousands of men through the latter chapters of life. Men who were weary, frustrated, and quietly questioning if their best days were behind them. And I can tell you this, they weren't. Not even close. There's something extraordinarily powerful about the moment a man decides he's not going to accept decline. That he still yearns to feel connection, presence, power, that he still yearns to hold his partner and mean it. That he still yearns to wake up with intention. You don't need to run a marathon or climb a mountain. Sometimes it begins with something as little as a teaspoon of honey. You see, this path isn't so much about honey. It's about taking back your rhythm, reclaiming your mornings, walking again with purpose, feeling your breathing in your chest and the rush in your fingertips. It's about sending your body a message that says, I'm still in this. I'm not finished yet. When my patients begin to work this way, the testimonials that most touch me are not about performance or quantity. That's when they tell you, I feel more like myself again. That's what is important. Because when you feel like you clear, grounded, alive, everything else gets easier. You don't have to do it all, but you must do something. Begin where you are. Begin small. Remain consistent. The body can do an amazing job of healing, of restoring itself, of responding. Particularly if it's treated with a bit of tender loving care, a lot of patience, and a dash of wisdom acquired by those who've lived long enough to learn what's important. Now, before we get underway with closing, I'd like to leave you with something that's real, something you can start using right now. Because knowing all that is only step number 1. Now it's about how you make it real. So, I want to share with you how to create your own daily ritual. Simple, yet strong, and tailored to help the man you are today and the life you still have in front of you. 8. Closing words. Your daily ritual, your new start. If there's one thing I've come to believe strongly after all these years, it's this. Small habits done over time can make a big difference. You've learned today that circulation is more than blood. It's about energy, clarity, presence, and connection. You've learned how it wanes with age, how it quietly eats away at vitality, and how something as simple and humble as raw honey can coax the body back to life. You've heard the science, yes, but also the tales. Real men in their 60s, 7s, even 80s regaining what it feels like to be themselves again. Men who did not pursue youth, but instead respected the life they still had by being present for it with purpose. You've also witnessed how quickly gains can be lost through typical blunders. It's not about doing more, it's about doing it correctly and putting your body in the rhythm it needs to react. Now it's your turn. Begin simply. Daily, a teaspoon of raw honey taken with intention. A short walk afterwards. Allow your body to recall what movement feels like. Breathe more fully. Stand more tall. Feel the change, not only in your body, but in your mood, your thought, your relationship with others around you. This is not a ritual. It's a statement. A soft one that says, I'm still here. I'm still important. And I'm not through yet. I've been on this journey with many men. I've watched the uncertainty in their eyes at the beginning and the spark that comes back once they start to get better, stronger, more alive. That spark is still inside you. And it's never too late to let it shine again. So however else life brings your way, let this be the start of a new chapter. One that's grounded in strength, clarity, and connection. One small step at a time, starting now. Thanks for watching Health Senior, where healthy living never gets old. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who cares about their health too. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss a new tip, recipe, or wellness guide. Stay active, stay happy, and most of all, stay healthy. See you in the next video.